everybody. It's so good to see you again. This might be a happier, much happier video than the last one because the caravan from Honduras, you see, they went to the American consulate in Tijuana and they're offering America a deal. If we give them $50,000 each, that's about 10,000 of them or so, or maybe it's 7 to 10,000 at this point, but it's $50,000 a head. They'll turn around and they'll go back to Honduras. So there's your bye-bye on the asylum claim. But they did say that they wanted us to overthrow their government too. They don't like the president. They want a different president. So we have to do that too. But if we don't do that, they will just take the $50,000 and turn around and head back home, which most of them are men. You know, if you heard about the whole thing, what was happening, they put the few women and children that they had, because you got to take women and children with you, especially children. See, the people that smuggle these people over the border tell them you must get a child. They tell them how to do it, and they tell them what to say and how to get through the border and how to get asylum. It's all mapped out, and Obama, when his wonderful administration was in office, he put this down in these countries. They were on billboards, they were on the computer, anywhere you could put it. But basically, he told you how to get through the border and what to say. And that if you come through and you get here and you send, of course, if you send your children, you send your little unaccompanied children, or a lot of them didn't turn out to be children, though they pretended to be children. Some of them were actually in their 30s, and they said they were like 17 years old. And you give them to these smugglers, and you give up to $10,000 to these coyotes and bring them over the border. And of course, nearly Doctors Without Borders say about 93% of them get raped. So that's a wonderful thing to do. And they send them over with Plan B because they assume that they're going to get raped. So that's a good thing for the little children. Or they get into sex trafficking. So this is a wonderful plan that started under the Obama administration. But getting back to the caravan. So the smugglers get paid an awful lot of money to smuggle these people over the border. But it's really funded by George Soros's Open Society Foundation, if you know anything about that. And Obama helped in 6 countries, even when he was a junior senator, to change the duly elected president or prime minister. And usually these were basically all middle of the road, center right or conservative governments, freer societies. He took hundreds of millions of dollars at this point to fund the overthrow of these regimes, and he would pay. Soros does this. He pays all these groups, and Obama, from being a senator up to presidente, he funneled this money to Soros, and millions of dollars. We're talking millions of dollars to pay these groups to riot. I don't know if this sounds familiar, to riot in the streets and to be violent, to burn things down, to hate the people who want a nice civilized society and are for the president or prime minister that they have elected, the government they have duly elected. And that brings down the society. And he ushers in a socialist government. And it turns out to be an Islamic socialist government, which is an interesting thing as well. So this is what's basically happening over here. And we've got another interesting factor. Of course, if these people come over the border, if we come over the border and we drop a baby, or we just come over the border and we hide in society, they end up getting paid. They get welfare, and then they work under the table. And according to, I think it was a few years ago, because it's the amount, I'm sure, is a lot more now. It's $120 billion is funneled out of this country, sent back to their home countries, because they get welfare, they're on the dole, and then they work under the table. So they have a lot of extra money. So what I say, my suggestion is, how much money do these people send back? Well, minus that out of the dole, because apparently they're getting paid enough to live and survive, that they have this extra money to send back. And I think there's a lot of people in America, especially those 200,000 homeless people on the streets of Los Angeles alone, that are Americans that can't get jobs because these people are taking their jobs for a quarter of the wage. They could use some of that money. I'm sure a lot of the Americans can use some of that money. There's another situation that's going on that you might want to know about. We have had a lot of people coming over the U.S. border that are from South Asia, which could be India, Nepal, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Africa. They come into Panama, and then they catch them in the jungles, free in the jungles. And what they do is they dump their fake passports and IDs in the jungle, but these are totally fake. This is not who these people are. And they bring them to a processing station down on the Panama, Costa Rican border, where they take retinal eye scans and 3D photographs and fingerprints of them, and whatever identification that they claim that they happen to be. And right now, as of December 12th, they have 100 of them in the processing station. And then they bring them up to Nicaragua, and then they let them go. And what happens is smugglers from there take them through the countries up to the U.S. border. So when they get to the U.S. border, if any of these people that have been processed come through, we know who they are. And Sri Lanka is an interesting place, is because in Sri Lanka, they've perfected the art of, suicide bombing. They've perfected that art. And what they're this is a counterterrorism effort. America is paying for all this equipment and paying them to try to catch these people and process them, at least get some biometric identification on these people. That way, this is our counterterrorism effort that we're trying to do. But I'm going to assume that there's a lot of them that are coming through that don't even get to the processing station and are just coming through. And how do these people get from their other countries to their home countries, to here? Well, they gather up $10,000 to $40,000 from their families. So these people aren't poor. You say these are economic migrants. These people aren't poor because they are getting a tremendous amount of money to get to this country. And they'll spend up to $40,000 to give to the smugglers to get them to the American border. And when asked by CIS, the Center for Immigration Studies, they're down there. In fact, you would think that the journalists, the mainstream media would be down there and they would be reporting on this because, we had that big thing happened in, it was 2001, that big thing happened, about 3,000 Americans were killed, and we've had all sorts of other terrorist attacks happen in this country. And you would think that the MSM would care about this, and they would be down there in these processing stations. But they don't, I don't think they really want to report on this because it's politically incorrect, because a lot of these people are Islamic terrorists. and they're from countries, and some are from Iran as well, from countries that we've earmarked for terrorism. Now you must understand, there are Muslims all over the world, and there are Muslims in this country. There are 57 Muslim majority countries, and there's other countries where they're not a majority. So the whole idea of earmarking certain countries is because certain countries are terrorist hotbeds, and they don't have any identification. There is no police department. There's no birth certificates. They have no way to know who these people are, to see if these people have some type of record doing terrorist activity. And recently we have caught people, even from Egypt, the aforementioned countries, Africa, of course, Egypt is in Africa, South Asia, Pakistan, Iran, all these countries, it's amazing, in Sri Lanka and so on and so forth. We've caught that recently that have long histories of terrorist activity, major crimes, histories of major crimes, and they're coming into this country. Apparently, we were able to find out who some of these people were deported before, and they're coming back again, and we know who these people are, and they're coming through the southern border. So when Trump is talking to, Tweedledee and Tweedly moron, or Tweedly dumb and Tweedly moron on the couch the other day, and they don't want a wall because a wall doesn't work. Well, talk to Israel. Israel has a wall that is 99% effective. And in fact, we are protecting the northern and southern border of Korea. We have military people along that border, and we have all sorts of electronic equipment that is protecting that border. So there are ways of protecting the border, and we can do it. And we've been doing it in Korea for years. And how long has Israel been doing it? I would say for many, many years, and it's been very, very effective. So saying that a border, they keep saying a border, we all know a border doesn't work. I just heard, what's his face, Colonel Sanders. No, Bernie Sanders today saying that they keep saying, you see, if you say a lie enough, people believe it. You just say it often enough. Trump's a racist, Trump committed felonies, and Trump this and that, and all that garbage about paying these two women who basically these two women have extorted money from him. That's what they did. Whether it's true or not, you just say, hey, I'm a hooker, or I'm a porno star. And they extorted money out of him. And that's illegal. That's against the law. It happened to David Letterman, where he was having an affair with this young girl, and the boyfriend wrote a screenplay about the situation and changed the names. And he said that I'll sell this to you instead of Hollywood for $10 million. And the boyfriend went to jail. So you tell me what crime Trump committed here. You tell me when Rosie O'Donnell also, $250,000 she gave illegally to campaigns. And guess what? She wasn't even charged with anything. And Obama, $2,300,000. He took illegal campaign contributions, which he had to pay a fine for. But no big deal on that one. But you see, if you keep saying things over and over again, like a border doesn't work, a wall doesn't work, it doesn't work, Trump is a racist. You know, he destroyed segregation in Palm Beach by suing the city. No, he's not a racist. We all know he's not a racist. He got an award from Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton, which we know Al Sharpton has said many racist things, for hiring the most minorities and women than anyone and promoting them. So if you keep saying these lies over and over again, that the wall doesn't work, when we have proof that walls do work, doors work. You know, I say, since they are telling us, since the Democrats keep telling us, you know, Tweedledum and Tweedly moron and the rest of the morons keep telling us that walls don't work. And none of these really wealthy people like Gates and Zuckerberg and all of them, which are all, they're all Democrats, by the way. They're the multi-billionaires, and Soros has got more billions and I would say trillions than we can possibly count. And not to mention many other big corporations, big companies that have more money than most countries, say that walls don't work. Yet all these people have security guards with guns, and guns, you got to get rid of the guns, but all their security guards have guns. And every single one of these Hollywood people have security guards with guns, but they want to take all the guns away from us. But they need them because they're so important. It's so wonderful. And they have, you know, they have alarm systems on their houses, and they have walls. In fact, what's his face? Zuckerberg is building more walls and higher walls around his house, and that Pope there, he made his walls another 200 feet higher, and he keeps saying, bring in more people from that we have no idea who they are from the Middle East, and because the Europeans aren't producing enough children. And you know what happens is you can't mix the two because you have to become a Muslim. And as we know, that FGM is now legal in America, you no longer will have Christianity. I don't know what kind of a pope this guy is, but he seems like an anti-pope to me. But he's got walls. Well, I say we might not have any jurisdiction over him. But I say the Democrats, since walls don't work, that means locks don't work and security and guns don't work. I think Trump should put through an executive order where all the walls around these people, everybody in the, it's illegal to have a wall around your house. It's illegal to have a security guard. It's illegal to have a security guard with a gun. It's illegal to have locks on your house or on your windows. No more locks, no more walls, no more nothing. And we're going to start from the top down. If the wealthy, if you earn X amount of dollars, okay, X amount of dollars, let's say, whatever they earn, and all these people in, you know, the politicians, the congressmen, and all senators and all these other politicians, if you're a politician or you earn X amount of dollars, you are not allowed to have a wall around your house. You're not allowed to have locks on your doors, and you're not allowed to have a security guard with guns, and neither are you allowed to have a gun or any way to protect yourself. So, I think things would change overnight really, really fast, don't you? Anyway, thanks for coming aboard and listening to me. And it's good to see you all again. And I think this is a good idea. And somehow I wish I knew somebody who knew Trump, because this is a good idea. I think this is a good law to pass. It's illegal to have walls. Oh my God, especially if you earn over, let's say, $100,000 or something. Whatever these politicians, you got to start with the politicians too. It's got to be that, and then go all up to the billionaires. But it's got to start with them. If you're a politician, or if you're like a millionaire, billionaire, whatever, nobody in the country is allowed to have a wall or locks, except for the people who are poor. We're allowed to have locks. But pass that law. Or if they insist on it, well, that's not fair. Well, then nobody has locks. Nobody will have walls. Nobody will have anything in the entire country. And no security guard will have a gun. And nobody's allowed to have a security guard. And I think things will change really, really fast, don't you? So if you know Donald Trump, please tell him this idea. It's a great idea. And I think they'll come on board really fast with that wall. But we know why they want the wall, because they're moving all these people into red states. First it was purple counties. Now it's red states. And they're changing them. And what we know now, in about 5 years, Texas is going to turn blue, because there are right now 5 out of every, 5 out of every 6 Mexicans apparently in Texas right now, within 5 years, will be voting age. And that entire state is going to turn Democrat. So that means we will never have another president again that's not Democrat. Once this country turns Democrat, it's going to be socialist. And I'm going to do a whole series on communism, the beginning of communism, the roots of communism, and how it was foreseen by a great author in Russia. Anyway, see you again next time.